Some cars are just cars. They get you from A to B. But then there are the legends, the ones that are practically woven into the story of our world, of exploration, of hard work, of sheer survival. And today, we're going to dig deep into the anatomy of one of the absolute greatest, the Toyota Land Cruiser.
Okay, just look at that number for a second. 10 million. And that was back in 2019. We're talking about over 10 million Land Cruisers sold all around the world. I mean, that is just a staggering number for one vehicle model, and it really tells you everything about its incredible reach and why people just keep coming back to it.
So that really leads us to the big question we're tackling today. How on earth does a vehicle become a global symbol for reliability? Like, how do you get the reputation for being indestructible, the go-to choice for the toughest jobs on the planet? Well, the story doesn't start with fancy features or sleek designs. Nope. It all begins with pure, raw necessity in post-war Japan. All right, so let's get into it. The birth of this icon. It was truly forged in necessity. And I really want to emphasize this. The Land Cruiser wasn't dreamt up in some fancy design studio where they're arguing about cup holders. Not at all. This thing was born from conflict and the challenge of just surviving the wild.
So, picture this. It's 1951. The Korean War is on, and there's a huge need for a tough, light utility vehicle. Toyota steps up and creates this prototype called the Toyota Jeep BJ. But they had to prove it was tough, right? So what do? They drive it up to the 6th station of Mount Fuji. No other vehicle had ever made it that high. Talk about a statement. So by 54, after conquering Japan's most famous mountain, it was pretty clear this thing was ready for the world. It just needed a name that could live up to the hype.
And that's where this great quote comes in from Hanji Umehara, the technical director at the time. He said, "I had to come up with a name for our car that would not sound less dignified than those of our competitors." And think about it, their main competitor was the British Land Rover. So he chose Land Cruiser. It wasn't just a cool name, it was a direct challenge. It was a promise that this vehicle would cruise over any land, anywhere.
Okay, so this next part is absolutely crucial to understanding the Land Cruiser's whole 70-plus-year history. You see, the family tree kind of split in two. There are these two souls of the Land Cruiser, and once you get this division, you'll understand exactly how it became such a massive global success. And here's that split, laid out perfectly. Over on one side, you've got the heavy-duty series. This is the direct descendant of that original beast that climbed Mount Fuji. We're talking the ultimate no-nonsense workhorse. Then, on the other side, you have the station wagon series. This is where they started adding comfort, more space, making it a go-anywhere explorer for the family. It's like they're two sides of the same incredibly tough coin.
Let's talk about that indestructible workhorse line for a minute, because this is where the legend was really forged. Think of the iconic J40 and the J70, which they still make today. Their whole philosophy is function over everything. The mechanics are simple on purpose, so you can fix it with a wrench and some grit in the middle of the desert. The steel body panels are flat, so they're easy to bang out or replace. This isn't a vehicle you baby. It's a tool. It's a hammer.
But while that was going on, the other side of the family was evolving in a totally different direction. The station wagon series took that same indestructible DNA and started, civilizing it. It started with the J60 in the 80s, which brought in things like air conditioning, a huge deal. Then came the legendary J80 in the 90s with its amazing full-time 4WD system and even optional locking diffs. And fast forward to the J200 series. I mean, that thing became a full-blown luxury vehicle. But here's the kicker. It could still go climb a mountain without breaking a sweat. So having these two identities, the ultimate workhorse and the comfy, capable explorer, is exactly how the Land Cruiser built this incredible reputation. It became more than just a truck. It became a global phenomenon. Honestly, it's probably the world's most trusted vehicle.
And if you want proof of that trust, just look at these sales numbers from 2023. It tells such a clear story. In Australia, they sold over 15,000 of them. Why? Because in the outback, if your car breaks down, you're in serious trouble. It's the ultimate test. Now, compare that to the US, where it's more of a niche vehicle. This right here shows you that the Land Cruiser's reputation isn't just marketing. It's strongest in the places where reliability literally means survival.
And that reputation leads to a really fascinating and undeniable reality. When failure is simply not an option, you pick a Land Cruiser. It's the ultimate testament. That's why you see them everywhere with humanitarian groups, with UN peacekeepers, and yeah, you see them used by militant groups too. The truck itself doesn't care about politics. Its one defining feature is that it just works, no matter what, no matter who's driving. Which brings us right up to today. How do you reinvent a legend like this? How does a 70-year-old icon, built on simplicity and big V8 engines, survive in a future that's all about tech, efficiency, and, well, electricity?
Well, the first part of the answer is the brand new 300 series. This is the modern flagship. It's on a whole new platform, making it about 200 kilos lighter, but actually stronger. But here's the big news, the one that got everyone talking. The V8 is gone. It's been replaced by these advanced twin-turbo V6s. It's a huge shift, really a modern take on that classic, indestructible formula.
But Toyota's not just playing at the top end. They're also looking to make the Legend more accessible. Enter the upcoming Land Cruiser FJ. The really clever bit is that it's based on the Hilux pickup platform, which is itself legendary for being tough as nails. The whole idea is to pack that core Land Cruiser DNA into a smaller, maybe more affordable package.
And if you want to look even further into the crystal ball, check this out, the Land Cruiser C concept. Now, this is a huge departure from tradition. We're talking a fully electric 3-row SUV. And get this, it's a monocoque, or unibody construction, not the classic body-on-frame. This is Toyota basically asking out loud, what does a Land Cruiser even look like in a world without gas engines?
So it all comes down to this. The entire Land Cruiser Legend was built on things you could hear and touch: big engines, simple mechanical parts, and rock-solid reliability. But as we head into a future of silent electric motors and incredibly complex software, can that core idea, that feeling of being indestructible, even survive? What does it take for a Legend to last another 70 years? That's the big question, and honestly, the whole world is watching to see how Toyota answers it.